Hey guys, welcome back to Archeonics. So this could be the last video that I'm making with my NS since I'm trying to sell it, and you can see I've already opened up my bike completely. You can see the airbox that is over here, and also I have removed the side panels and the seat. Let me show it anyways. These are the seats, front and rear, and also these are the side panels that I already removed. And I'm planning to sell this motorcycle. You can see the tank over there. I don't want the next user to face any problems, so I thought of replacing its timing chain and also the tensioner, which I'll be showing you in some time. I have already made a video on how to remove till here, and the link for which I'll be leaving in the iCard above. Now, in order to remove the timing chain and the tensioner, I need to remove the radiator first. That I'll be showing you in some time anyways. And even before doing that, I need to drain the coolant completely. So stay tuned and let's get into the video. Now, in order to remove the coolant from the radiator as well as the reservoir, there is a drain bolt below the water pump which we need to undo so that the coolant will be drained completely from the system. I have already made a video on this, but still let me show it anyways. With the help of 8mm ring spanner, make sure that you properly undo the drain bolt as shown. If it is too locked in like this one, use a hammer to tap it and loosen it out. You can see this is the drain bolt, but even after removing it, you cannot see any coolant draining in. This is because the entire cooling system is airlocked, so we need to remove the radiator cap or at least loosen it in order to remove the airlock so that the coolant can drain out. With the help of a plier, I'm loosening the radiator cap, and if you notice, the coolant is getting drained in the cup that I placed below. Let the coolant drain completely, and once this is done, let's install and tighten the drain nut back onto the motorcycle. Now next, let's move on to removing the radiator. Before removing the radiator itself, we need to remove the radiator guards, which is held by 3 10mm bolts, which I'm undoing using a 10mm socket and the ratchet. There is one bolt on the bottom and 2 bolts which is holding the radiator guard completely. After undoing it, we can move ahead and removing the right side panel. Using a star or Phillips head screwdriver, just remove the 2 screws holding the right side panel. Once this is done, you can move the radiator guard out of the motorcycle. One thing that I have not showed in this video is undoing the horn, which you need to do before removing the radiator guard. Next, let's move on to removing the radiator itself. The entire radiator is held with 4 nuts, which is of the same 10mm in size. Remove the 4 10mm nuts along with the cut washer and the regular washer and make sure that you don't lose it. I am using the same 10mm socket with the ratchet to make the work easier. Once this is done, your radiator will free to move out of your motorcycle. But before removing it completely, you need to undo the 2 hoses which is connected to your engine. Using a plier, just remove the hose clamps as shown and twist the hose, making sure that you don't damage it, and undo it from the radiator. Repeat the same process on the other side too. After you disconnect both the hoses, disconnect the socket which is for the fan, and your radiator is free to move out of your motorcycle. This is the radiator along with the fan of the NS200, and inspect for any damages, and if you find any, you can consider replacing it. After removing the radiator, you get enough room to work with your front end of your motorcycle. Now next step is to remove the header pipe. The entire header pipe is held with 2 12mm nut, and I'll be using an impact wrench to remove the same. I have made a video on the impact wrench that I'm using here, and if you have not watched it yet, I'll leave the link for this in the iCard above. The impact wrench will make your work so easy that even most tight bolts and nuts can be removed without any problem. Now after undoing the 2 12mm nut, there is one 12mm bolt that is holding the header pipe to the silencer. Just undo it, and once this is done, just wiggle the header pipe and remove it out of the motorcycle. Now next, let's move ahead and remove all the old oil. Before draining the old oil out, just make sure that you clean the drain bolt so that it will prevent any slippage while you're removing it. Using an 18mm socket or a ring spanner, crack open the drain bolt and remove it completely. Once this is done, you have to remove the strainer. Using a plier, just wiggle the strainer and remove it out of the motorcycle. Let the oil drain completely, and in meanwhile, just clean the strainer and your drain bolt. Once the oil is completely drained, insert back the strainer and tighten the drain bolt, and you make sure that you don't over tighten it, and just snug fit is more than enough. Now next, I'm going to open the clutch case using an impact wrench. Always make sure that you remove all the bolts in a crisscross pattern to avoid any pressure on the clutch case. The entire clutch case is held with 8mm bolts. After you remove all the 8mm bolts, you can wiggle the clutch case and remove it out of your motorcycle. If you haven't disconnected the clutch cable beforehand, just disconnect the cable as shown and let's keep the clutch case aside. Now next, let's remove the spark plug adapter. Once this is done, insert the spark plug socket and remove the spark plug out of the motorcycle. Now there is a small Allen bolt which is holding the spark plug sleeve. You need not remove it completely, just loosen it just enough how it is shown in the video. Once this is done, use a piece of cloth and a plier to slowly wiggle and remove the spark plug sleeve out of the motorcycle. Inspect the sleeve for any damages and if you find any, consider replacing it. Now next, using a 10mm socket, just remove the 4 bolts holding the head cover. Make sure that you remove the bolts in a crisscross pattern so that you can avoid cracking of the head cover due to uneven pressure that is exerted on the head cover. After removing all the 4 bolts, just wiggle and remove the head cover out of the motorcycle. Inspect its oil seals and if it's damaged, consider replacing it. Now the next step is to set the timing of the engine. You need to confirm the timing is right from 3 sides, that is one from the cam sprocket itself, and the second one is the line that is matching on the crankshaft sprocket, and the third one is on the engine left hand side. You can see through this small window that the line on the magnet is matching or in parallel with the engine case point, and that confirms that the piston is in the top dead center. Once all the 3 lines are matched, that means your timing is exactly right. After this, let's move on and remove the timing chain tensioner. The timing chain tensioner is held with 2 8mm bolts. Just undo the 2 bolts and the tensioner will be free to move out of the motorcycle. Make sure that you collect the gasket too, and if it's damaged, you have to replace it anyways. This is the old tensioner that you can see and it is pretty old, that is 8 years, and I'm anyhow replacing this tensioner. And along with the tensioner, I'm going to replace the 2 timing chain pads along with the new timing chain. Now the next step is to remove the camshaft sprocket. It is held with a 12mm bolt. I'm using an impact wrench to remove the 12mm bolt and the wrench will make the work so much easier. Once the 12mm bolt is loose, remove it with your hand. Once the bolt is completely out, you can slowly wiggle and remove the camshaft sprocket out of your motorcycle. As you can see, this is the camshaft sprocket that we just removed. Next, remove the timing chain from the below crankshaft sprocket, and you can see this timing chain is pretty old, and over the time the timing chain has stretched itself to increase in length. Let me show a comparison with the brand new timing chain in some time. Next, using a 6mm Allen socket, remove the timing chain pad as shown. After removing the Allen bolt, just remove the timing pad from the top. This particular timing chain pad doesn't have any sign of wear and tear. However, if you see the behind part, you can see the area that has wear and tear from the timing chain tensioner hitting too hard on the pads. This happens over time and this required to be replaced no matter if your timing chain pad is in a good shape. Next, let's move on to removing the head bolt of the engine. Again, I'm using an impact wrench to make the work easy. The head bolt is of 14mm size and make sure that you remove it in a crisscross pattern. Once all the 4 bolts has been removed, there are 2 more 8mm bolts that you need to remove from the right hand side of the engine. Do not forget to correct the washers while you are removing the head bolts. Now once all the 4 head bolts and the 2 stud boards has been removed, now slowly wiggle the head assembly and remove it out of the motorcycle. Next, remove the metal head gasket as shown. Now we did all this just to remove this timing chain pad. You can see the damage on the timing chain pad, and this happens especially when the timing chain is pretty loose, and this can happen if the timing chain tensioner is faulty or if your timing chain have extended its length over the period of time. And you can see this is the old head gasket which I'll be replacing with a brand new one anyways. So now let's replace the old timing chain pads with a brand new one. Install the right hand side timing chain pad on its slot as shown in the video. Next, it's time to replace the head gasket, and this is the old one, and now we'll be replacing it with a brand new one. You can see the costing of this gasket, and this particular head gasket is made of metal. Align the head gasket as shown and install it, aligning it with the dowel pins. Next, install back the head unit, making sure that you don't move the head gasket, and also you align the timing chain pad while you're installing it back. Install back the 4 head bolts followed by 2 stud bolts. Tighten it in a crisscross pattern. Don't forget to install back the 2 8mm stud bolts and tighten it using an 8mm socket. Now let's install the left hand side timing chain pad as shown. Tighten it with the 6mm Allen key bolt that you removed before. Now this is a brand new timing chain, and let me show you a comparison with the old one. You can see the old timing chain has stretched itself in length, and due to this, no matter how many times you change the tensioner, your timing chain will not have an accurate play, because of which your timing will be out and also you might get annoying engine sound. Now in order to install the timing chain, let me pass a wire through the top and collect it from bottom. Now tie a knot on the new timing chain and pull the timing chain from the top. Align the timing chain to the crankshaft sprocket and place the top as shown in the video. Now before installing the camshaft sprocket, let's wipe it down and clean it thoroughly. Now before installing the cam sprocket onto the motorcycle, we need to make sure that the timing is right, make sure that the lines are matching, and after confirming all the timing has been set properly, Install the cam sprocket, making sure that the T mark is up and the two lines is in line with the head. Once again, confirm if the T mark is on the top and also the line is matching the crankcase, and also on the other side, the line on the magnet and the cover is in line. Once the timing is confirmed, install back the cam sprocket bolt as shown. Now I'm going to install the brand new timing chain tensioner with the brand new gasket. Rotate and load the tensioner as shown and insert its lock as shown. Now install the timing chain tensioner and tighten it using the two 8mm bolts. Now you can see the play in the timing chain. Once I remove the timing chain's plastic lock, you can see the tension build up on the timing chain. Now cover the timing chain's hole with the 10mm bolt that you removed before. Insert the spark plug sleeve as shown. Before tightening the Allen key bolt, just tap the sleeve inside just enough you hear a sound change. Now tighten the sleeve's Allen key bolt as shown. Now install the spark plug back and tighten it with the spark plug socket. Once this is done, insert the plug adapter. For those who are wondering whether I am still using the slipper clutch, you can see this is the slipper clutch unit I've been using from few months. And for your information, this is working perfectly and there is no damage on the gasket itself. Now let me put a new gasket and install back the clutch case cover. Make sure that you tighten the clutch case bolts in a crisscross pattern. Once this is done, the only thing left now is to install back the radiator and flush the coolant. With this, the timing chain and the pad replacement is successfully completed. I have already made a video on how to flush the coolant, so I'll leave the link in the description below and also in the iCard above. And also how to install the carburetor back, I have already made a video on this, which also you can find the link below. As I mentioned in the starting, I'm planning to sell this NS200 and this could be the last video that I'll be making on this. However, it is not the end and most interesting stuff is coming soon. So stay tuned and subscribe to Archeonix and follow me on Instagram for more such interesting content.